And we're live! Welcome, Kindreds. It's Jessica the Story Witch, and this is the live bullet journal setup for 2019. I'm super stressed. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just having a little, like, why did I say I was going to do this? But no, it's great. So I hope everyone can hear me and see me. I'm going to film it in this kind of top-down style way so that you can see what I'm doing in my journal. And obviously, like you guys will probably be maybe listening rather than watching for a fair bit of it, I would have thought. I've got my laptop ready so I can see the chat, which hopefully should work. Oh, except I'm going to need to mute it, otherwise I can hear myself in stereo, which is never fun. I can see a few people here already. Hey Elaine, hey Belle, hey Jules, hey Keegan, hey Alexa, oh hey Andrea. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I was so thinking about you earlier actually, Andrea. I hope things are good with you. And my chat on my computer. Oh hi Michelle. It was so, like, I was trying to pick a time that would kind of work for everyone, but I know that's like technically not possible because the way the world works, some of us are obviously sleeping while others of us are awake. So hopefully this worked reasonably well for a few of you. I know it doesn't work for every time zone. Hey Creative Coffee, hey Hashtag Travels, hey Isariak, hey Kyle, hey Lily, oh and Denny, hey. So I hope everyone is good. For me, this is Sunday morning at like 11:30, but I know obviously it's different times for you guys wherever you are. Before we start, I just wanted to kind of, well, I know I need to take a moment to just kind of sink in and ground and just get really kind of calm again, get back into that kind of calm space. Hi, Natasha. So I have lit a little candle, and if you guys, I'm sure you probably will have already lit candles and things like that. I've got my incense going as well. So, whatever you want to do to kind of get yourself into a special space, into sacred space, I've just got this little candle here, and I was just going to take a couple of deep breaths to kind of settle into myself and ground myself. Okay. Oh yeah, I got these in quite a few different colours, Andrea. I find them they're really good for having the colour correspondences as well. I'm just going to move it a little bit out of the way so that it's not going to get in the way of the space that we're using. So let's get started. I've got a little oil here as well, which is, I was going to use this to just kind of put something on my journal, which I'm not going to do actually live here, but I thought that you might want to do something similar like that. You can just kind of anoint your journal with an oil. And this gorgeous oil blend was made for me by Ashley from the Coffee Table Coven. So if you haven't seen them, you should check them out. They're two lovely kind of newish witches who are really trying hard to kind of make an impact on things. So it's lovely. So yeah, I'm going to be using that to just kind of anoint my book. Okay, so how about you guys? What have you got? Have you got your stuff ready? What are your plans? Let's be it so I'm not kind of alone. It's really freaking me out that I can see what's happening on the screen, but like behind time. So I think I'm going to try and block off that without blocking off the chat. I wonder if I can do that. I think if I hook that over there, I can. Yes, that's better. I can't see myself now. So that's good. Right, so I'm using a Leuchtturm 1917. This is the colour that I've chosen for 2019, which is the royal blue. Keegan says, I have my book and markers and stuff all piled around me. I know, I was like that. I was like, I hope that everything I need is to hand. It should be, but it's always the same, isn't it? Oh, hey Tracy. Denny, you've got another journal. Oh, Mad Witch is in Hobbycraft, but there's definitely worse places you could be. On Elaine's using, I love that colour green, like yeah, it's like a kind of like a turquoisey green. What have I done with that? It's around here somewhere. I'll see, there I said I might need that, and I thought I'll put this somewhere where I can grab it easily, and now I can't even see. Oh, I put it on top of the shelf because, you know. So yeah, that is the one, and look how battered this is now, and this one will be like that. So I think what I'll do before we start is I'll give a little flick through of the spreads that I'm going to be doing, so that you guys can kind of see, and you might think, right, I'm going to be doing that one, but I'm not going to be doing this one, you know, and we can kind of work this out. I know you probably know some of these already from the kind of preparation videos, so yeah. So, and I have cheated slightly in that I know I wanted to use watercolours in my first spread, and so I did do the watercolours first because I knew I wouldn't have time to do that live and for it to be dry to be able to write on top of. So this is where my kind of first spread is going to be. This is going to be my my sovereign, which is my word of the year, and the death card, which is my tarot, numerologically my tarot card for this year. So, oh, and that reminds me, Ashley, I haven't sent you yours yet, so if you're watching this, I will be doing that. Okay, I'm gonna write something on my hand now to remind me. I've had so many things in my head these last few weeks. My husband has been away, so I've been like trying to do too many different things. And then these next two pages are going to be a page about Damara, which was the goddess that I drew from the Dorian Virtue Goddess deck as my goddess for the year. But I kind of felt a bit, well, I'll talk about that when we come to it anyway. So I've also got Minerva here as well as my goddess. So those two are going to be on like kind of a double page spread here. And then my key and the symbols, and I'm just going to use the Leuchtturm index as it comes. So that is going to be remaining the same. Then I've got my Wheel of the Year spread that I shared with you guys, and just a couple of notes about it. I haven't written the notes in yet, but I just wanted to kind of check that it was all going to fit on the page. So I have penciled in what I'm planning on writing on here. And then I've got a couple of pages of astrology, and I don't know how well this is going to work for everyone, because it is kind of like how it feeds in the kind of aspects and things that are happening this year and how they feed in with my chart. But it might be useful, I don't know. And I've tucked this in the lunar calendar for 2018 because my friend Gwen makes these calendars. They're so beautiful, and I haven't got her 2019 one yet, so I need to remember to kind of chase that, and I'll probably clip that in once I have got it, so it'll be in there. And then I've got a goals page, the tarot daily draw tracker, which is it's going to be virtually the same as the one I was using for this year, which is adapted from one that Jess Roller originally shared on her blog, and that's just reminded me, have I got my washies? Aha, yes. See, look, this is how organised I was, or I am attempting to be. I've got, I made a little box of the washies and stickers and things which I'm planning on using. So I'll pop that over there. Oh, hey Liz. Oh. And then my blood moon tracker, which is my menstrual cycle tracker. And Secretwen, I really like that calendar. I've been thinking of getting it, but I guess I'd have to fold it to fit in the notebook. The moon, do you mean this, the lunar calendar? She does them in, this is actually the card version. She does them as cards, and so that actually tucks in really, I mean, it doesn't fit perfectly, but it tucks in nicely, and you could always just trim that if you wanted to make it a little bit, well, it would fit perfectly in then. So yeah, you could use that. Oh, Kerry on Facebook, I get it now. A fellow Terry Pratchett fan. So yeah, period tracker, blood moon tracker, which obviously may not be relevant to you. Yay, hey Lachette. And then I've got my kind of like the Story Witch tracker, which I call it, which is where I kind of make sure that I've done what I need to do each month as far as sending out newsletters, sending out doing the stuff I need to do for Patreon, and whether I've posted enough videos and things like that, because I do set myself goals for those things as well. And what have I put on here? Oh, this is like a video ideas page, so that may or may not be relevant. I know quite a few people here actually do have their own channels as well, so that's cool. Oh, hey Janetta, I didn't see you there. It's nice to see you. Oh wow. 6:30, Lachette, that is early. I didn't sleep very well at all last night. I don't know if obviously I was a bit nervous about this, but I don't think it was just that. I'm still kind of on a bit of a come down after the full moon, so yeah, I think it's that. So, and then I'm going to have a book list, which is for the books that I've read or have started reading here. 4:30 AM, Janetta. Wow, that is hardcore that you've got up to do this. You'll need to go back to bed after this. It's obviously not a good time for some of the people in the US, this. Because I need to figure out a time to do when we do the next one as well, which is going to be the monthly setup. So yeah, we'll have to try and work out a time that will work good for everyone. Hey Kim. You've just stayed up, Keegan. Wow, that is even more hardcore. Sorry, Janetta. And then Songbook, which is the songs that I can play and sing on the guitar, and perhaps the ukulele. I haven't played. Neil gifted me a ukulele a couple of years ago, probably it is now, and I still haven't learned to play it. But I play the guitar a little bit, and yeah, we do open mic nights. I used to be, I don't know if I've said this before on my channel, but I used to actually be like a kind of a cabaret singer while I was in university, rather than I did have a bar job as well, but once I started doing more of the singing, you know, the money is just so much better, and it's much less, you know, it's kind of fun work, so it's much less work. So I did that for quite a few years, which really helped me out through university, and when me and my husband were just kind of getting settled in our first house and stuff like that. But I didn't used to play any instruments for that. I used to have like everything on backing tracks, and that always felt like a bit of a cop-out to me, because I play the piano, and exactly why, you know, if you've seen my depth year video, I was talking about kind of how my interests are generally more wide rather than deep, and I'm exactly the same with instruments. I can play the violin a little bit, I can play the cello reasonably well, I can play the piano reasonably well, I can play the guitar a little bit, you know, it's like that. It's just like, no expertise in any area. So the songbook is for songs I can actually play and sing all the way through. So yes, I do have an A written on my hand, Andrea. That's because I want to remember that I need to send Ashley some information about her word of the year card. I tend to write them there because then I can't like forget. It's a really, you know, sophisticated and complex system. Hey Anya. Okay, and then at the back, I'm just going to stick a poem, well, kind of prose actually, that I found beautiful out of this year's wee moon in there. And then I'm going to have my future log, which I've decided to do over 2 pages, because I do write my videos in here, but you might want to just do it all on 1 page, which would be totally cool if you weren't going to be writing loads of appointments on there. And I've also got my wish list, because I'm doing a depth year, I'm not going to be buying loads of stuff, so... I'll see, like, I'm not weird for doing this. It's a thing. People say like write it on the palm of their hand, and like that's the worst place, because it just gets all kind of smudgy and sweaty and everything. You can't actually see. Authentic, Kim. That's a really good word for the year. I love it. Piano, violin. Okay, so shall we get started? I am like vaguely putting it off. What spreads are you guys doing? Have you got plans for it all? I know Janetta said that she's going to kind of wing it. So this is kind of my most ambitious spread that I thought I'd dive in with straight away. Just for fun. So, I know what else I need. I got a couple of gel pens that I borrowed from my daughter, which I want to use on this spread as well. My Larry flowery pens, because I've just zipped it up instead of unzipping it. So I'll pop those there as well. So So what I wanted to do here was kind of have like a brainstormy, mind mappy type page, but make it also look kind of vaguely nice. And I have printed out this skull with a crown on because it is my death and sovereign year. And Carrie's saying she's noodling around ideas, so I do have your new... Okay, so what I would probably do is use your half-empty current notebook to try things out. That's what I do when I get to the end of a book and I've still got a few pages left, but I want to start a new one because it's a new year or something. So perhaps you might want to do that. Just try some things out, you know, in your existing notebook. So I'm going to cut out this skull, and this skull is going to be stuck in the fold of this because it's bringing together my sovereign word and my death year sort of theme that is going on for this year as well. So I'm going to cut this out, and you guys can just get started with whatever it is that you're going to be doing. So yeah, skull imagery is something that I'm going to be using throughout this book. When I looked for some stickers for this, I found a lot of the stuff now is very much themed around Mexican skull imagery. I think perhaps South American imagery more generally, because I think there's some of the areas in South America where skulls are also... You know what I mean, those kind of stylized candy skulls. That I just felt a bit, that was, I have got some of the stickers that are a bit like that, but I didn't want to be kind of appropriative in using that kind of thing. So yeah, Day of the Dead. Will I list a contents page in the description? Oh, hang on, I've missed loads of stuff. Okay, so, right, well, this crown skull is actually just it was a free image off the internet, and not like just ripped down off the internet. I had to go onto a website and put my email address in to get it, but, you know, it was still free. You can get like 3 free ones each week or something like that, or they want to kind of upsell you on, you know, subscribing and getting more images, but obviously I don't need masses of images. Although one of the things I am considering getting before my depth year is like a kind of label maker, a sticker maker. They're actually not that expensive now. You can get them for about £20, and I actually spend more than that on stickers a year, even though I tend to prefer stamps to stickers because they're more environmentally friendly, but there's something nice about stickers as well, and I thought if I could make my own, that would be cool. So I'm considering it. So there is my skull. Let's have a look what else people are saying. I need to keep these bits because these are little reminders of things I need to do on the pages. Okay, so Lachette's starting with a calendar at a glance. I don't actually do that page. I know like loads of people do and they find it useful, but I don't actually find it that handy, so I kind of dropped that out of my bullet journal because I've got the future log which will have those little mini calendars on it. I just don't feel like I need that. So yeah, it is a really common one though, so if you did want to start with that, and that's a nice way to kind of ease into it as well, because like as long as you can, because sometimes you can cock it up when you're doing putting the numbers of the days on, but it's good. So Elaine's got birthdays, future planner, body tracker, tarot year ahead, blood moon, and moon phases drawn out in pencil. Cool, so you're ready to go. Do I schedule right, I don't actually schedule it in because my days just don't really work like that. I tend to work more in the kind of way of rhythms rather than routine, rhythms rather than schedule. So I generally check in with my planner first thing in the morning, and then after dinner, after I've kind of tidied up after dinner, I come up and do a little bit of time up in my attic then, and that's my planner time and my kind of study time as well. Although if my husband's not here, I don't always get that time because the kids want me to do something with them. So yeah, sometimes I just say I can't. I've been doing stuff with you all day because we also homestead, and they do understand, you know, they're getting old enough to understand that. But yeah, I don't actually like kind of schedule it in. But I think if I was, when I think back to now to all the time I had when I, you know, before my children were born, I think, wow, I just wasn't managing my time very well at all then. I frittered so much time away doing kind of pointless things. Alicia hasn't figured out her word of the year yet. It will come to you, I'm sure. Okay, so Jules, I did a couple of videos. I've got a blog post as well about choosing the word for the year. It kind of is an organic process, so it's like it's something that will come to you. I'll try and remember to link those things down, or if somebody else has got the link. I'm not sure if you can share them actually in the chat. I think you might like blank them out automatically. Tracy, I will, when I finish recording this, I'll go through and I'll put timestamps for each of the pages so that you can see when I'm going on to different pages. That's a really, really good point. I should put that. I'll put a little star next to my A to remind me about that. Oh, I've got an A star. Oh, Denny, that's really sweet, lover. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere for a while yet. Yeah, and like my thing with the sugar skulls is that I don't know enough about the history. I don't know enough about them, and I don't feel comfortable using them because I don't know that. And so, you know, I don't know the full significance. If I knew the full significance, then I would feel okay. Oh, Keegan, you've got a sticker machine at the second-hand shop. I haven't even thought about that. I wonder, I could try eBay. Thank you, Andrea, about how I coloured the crown. I use watercolours on this as well. And I'm going to use some of these like sparkly gel pens to jazz it up a little bit, and also to jazz up these flowers a little bit. So, you know, my watercolouring is not... I went for kind of a basic-y pattern, so it's good. Yeah, Liz, erratic schedules is, you know, we don't really have schedules. We do things similarly each day, but it depends on when we get up and when we go to bed. Oh, it works well for you, Tracy, this time. Yeah, I was hoping it would work well for some of the people in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah. Hearth, that's a lush word, Carrie. I love that. Hearth. There's so much in there to unpack, isn't there? Yeah. That's really, and lots of kind of goddessy connection too. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do first is I know I want to darken up this kind of banner that I've got at the bottom, because I'm going to have like a little motto-y thing down there. You guys already doing? Are you getting on with it? So I want a dark grey, but I don't want it to be like black, so yeah, that'll be fine. So I'm going to use my Tombow N45 for this. I'm just going to fill this in. And it kind of, I'm going to do a couple of passes with this pen. It's not going to look really like neat and tidy. Well, as none of my bullet journals do. But it will be done, which will be lovely. I started filming my December bullet journal setup as well, but I got interrupted, and so I've kind of got, well, probably the first third of it already filmed. So I need to finish that off as well before I can get that up for you guys. And it is a little bit like unthought out, because I've been thinking about this a lot rather than my December. And to be fair, my December spreads are often a little bit like that, because it's like there's always next year stuff to be thought about at that time then. So that's my kind of first pass. Oop. This page is rising up a little bit. So I don't know how it's going to go with the chatting and the doing, but we will see. I'm going to do my best to balance chatting and being in the chat here, as well as getting on and getting this actually done. So these pages at the front of the Leuchtturm are thicker. You can use watercolour in the Leuchtturm generally, but you do have to be very, very light with it and not very wet. So you have to be a lot neater basically, whereas I am not that neat. So these pages are good pages for me to do that. Kim, I run mine with the with the calendar year, because I actually find that is, from a kind of life organization point of view, that works better just for me, because most of our kind of appointments and things and arrangements as a family are like that. So yeah, although I do very much feel like my new year starts as Samhain, the first bit of the new year is kind of sloughing off the old stuff. So I find it's okay to start this after solstice, because that's when things kind of start moving again, you know. Did I get the death card from the numerology? Yeah. Oh, hi Lauren. I didn't even notice you coming in then. Sorry. Yes. And I've been researching more into this because I've been sharing it in the group and in my Patreon Facebook circle, and I was not satisfied with how I was describing the process, and I realised I just kind of accepted it from Mary Greer's, and something about it just wasn't making sense to me. So I've actually dug a bit deeper into this, and what I've found is that like the kind of hardcore numerologists do it in a slightly different way. It still usually comes out to the same number, but they do it in a slightly different way. So for me, my birth date is 4th of the 6th, and then you do it, so it's the 4th of June, and then you do the year for this year, so it's not this year, but the year that's coming, 2019. But say, for example, it was the 14th of the 6th, say, just because it'll give us more to do. So what they say you should do is you should actually add these as individual things first, rather than adding like 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9. So it usually comes out as the same thing, but yeah. Yeah, Kim, and obviously you do it how it works for you, you know, that'll work. And it's all kind of trial and error, and also sometimes things that have been working really well suddenly just aren't, and then you kind of have to change things up. So say 4 plus 1 is 5, and then the 6 is obviously just still a 6. And then 2019, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 9 is 12. And then because that is this is where it's interesting, is that if you've got a number up to 11, that's a master number, and so you wouldn't reduce that down, you would add it as like a whole number. So you could go 5 plus 6 plus 12, and that will give you a different answer. So there's different ways of kind of doing it. But Lane's having a justice year. So yeah, and also there's like an energy of the actual year itself. So 2019 is a 12 year. It is a 12. It is a hanged man year, you know. So that's the energy. And this year, 2018, is an 11. So it is a justice year. So it's, yeah, you know, it's still. Brian pointed out the idea of summing also the time of birth. Yeah, and you can do that as well. Yeah, and you can also use your letters and kind of follow it down. Yeah, Anya as well. That's true. So Anya's saying that some people think that the year kind of starts as your birthday comes as well, so that energy, and I definitely find that, but I find it's more like of an overlapping of the energy. So I'm already working with that death card energy, because mine reduces down to 13 this year, so I'm working with that death card energy, but also obviously that 3 and 1 also becomes a 4, so I feel I'm also working with emperor energy as well. So it is you know, it gets really complicated. You can also use your name, you know, and you can reduce that down with the numbers and stuff as well. It's a really fascinating and kind of complex, well, not really complex, but just many layered thing. I do find that those energies all weave in together. So like the energy of the whole year, like I feel like this year being a justice year or a strength year, if you're kind of using a Thoth-based system, you know, the whole energy of the year feels like that. But then we have our personal energy of the year blending in, and the new one coming in with the birthday, and the old one kind of phasing out. So yeah, it's interesting. So I hope that makes sense if you want to work out what your card is. Yeah, Andrea, but you can obviously use these things with, you know, you can. What I found interesting as well, some people talk about, like, if you use your date of birth, the first number is supposed to kind of sum up your early years, and then the middle number, the month number, would sum up your kind of middle years, and then the year number, when it's reduced down, sums up your kind of later years. So it's kind of like a timeline as well. So Keegan, yours is 8 strength. So is that your, I know that's your card, your birth card. Is that also your card for this year? That's interesting. I love it when you kind of get a strength, you know, you get that kind of double energy of that. So I'm going to stick this in here. Oh, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do these little swirly whirlies on the flowers first because I want to write in these flowers. It's taken me an age. I haven't even started. I promised that this would not last more than 2 hours because I'm sure you guys will all have completely got fed up by then. So I need to kind of get moving a bit. So I'm drawing the kind of like petals, I suppose, you know, on these flowers. Just to make the place to write because I'm gonna be writing in on these. Okay. So this scroll was kind of getting in the way here. I think I'll stick with the pink for this one. So like obviously this is all kind of rough and loose. But I like that. I like that kind of more abstract-y. I find that once I've kind of messed up in my journal. Yeah, see Elaine, she's saying she already doesn't like her handwriting. Oh, okay, that's cool. So 22, I would stick with that and have Fool, Kim, yeah. And you could also reduce it down and go with Emperor as well because it would definitely do that. Ah, and Keegan is both. Cool. Oh, Tracy's getting her crystals on. That's cool. So, I'm just going to carry on doing these. And yeah, I promise I won't chatter on as much as this for all of these spreads. I just kind of wanted to get everyone up and running. So yeah, I do find that once I've done something in it that I don't like necessarily, it makes it much easier. I used to always leave the first few pages blank because of that, because I didn't want to kind of really cock them up straight away. But now I've kind of got a bit past it and I'm just like, yeah, let's just do it. Although I have to say, I did kind of try this out in my old book, so I kind of roughly knew how it was going to pan out before I started, so this is not completely new. Kindra's just joined. Oh, non-quiet, hi guys. Oh my gosh, it's 4 in the morning for you, Beth. Oh, and Anya's going to have her lunch. That's okay, Anya, we'll see you sometime soon. Oh, Alexa, a fellow Pearl Jam fan. Well, you're in good company. So, let's get these flowers finished. Got another orangey one here, yeah. So yeah, Jeanette said it, so you haven't missed much, and you genuinely haven't. This is literally my first page. So I'm sorry about that. Things will speed up a little bit now, I'm sure, once I get into the swing of things. What's nice with these gel pens, they actually kind of, they are sparkly. Which might be nice or not nice, depending on whether you like that kind of thing. But I do like that kind of thing, so, you know, I think it's nice. Oh, thanks, Jeanette. And you've just reminded me, actually, by putting it in capitals, that's going to make things much easier for me. I totally forgot about that whole capital thing. Yeah, if you could, if you want me to see something, if you put it in capitals, that'll be really helpful, because I will more easily be able to kind of glance over and pick that out. So Janetta just asked where I got the inspiration for the roses, and you know, weirdly, perhaps or not, I just find roses have a kind of death association for me. So it's that kind of beauty in decay thing. And I find roses are really one of those, you know, they're almost more beautiful when they're dying. So, oh my gosh, Bella's here at 4 a.m. Thanks, Kim. It's actually a dress, this. So, oh, thanks, Janetta. So, this is going to get stuck on here eventually. But first, I'm just going to write in on here my little, like, motto for the year. If this pen's going to work, which hopefully it will. And I need to make sure it fits in, so I might not have to not talk just for a second. So I don't know if you can read what it says. What it's supposed to say is the king is dead, long live the king. And it's a little bit squished in this first bit, and after the pen that I'm using to do that is a Uniball Signo, and you know, it doesn't work perfectly, but it does kind of work. It's better over just like one pass of a dark colour. But this is obviously over the watercolour and stuff as well. So, okay, so why this? So the king is dead, long live the king, because of the sovereign and the death thing and that whole thing, you know, like when the king dies, or the queen, you know, it could have been the queen is dead, long live the queen, but for some reason the king is dead just seemed more appropriate to me. It's that whole thing that even though death has happened, there is continuity. So there is change and there's continuity. So that's what I feel like is my kind of motto for this year, is that some threads are going to kind of run on, and even though those individual deaths and leavings of things are kind of painful, it's not the end, if you see what I mean. So I hope that it makes sense. It makes sense to me, so that's good. So yeah, there's my skull kind of stuck in. I should have coloured in the jewels first, but I will colour them in now. So I think that's looking pretty cool actually. So it's a kind of opening page. I feel like that's, well, the pink's a bit bright maybe. But you know, I kind of like it. Wondering about giving him one pink tooth. Is that a bit like, maybe that's a bit over the top. Yeah, the Uniball Signos are really good. Our Belle's doing her weekly planner. Yeah, exactly. Just do whatever it is you're doing, you know. Just finished the Tower year, New York card. Oh, I love having a star, yeah. Yeah, the star's my teacher card. I love that card. So Kerry's getting confused using different methods to work out your year card. It's either the High Priestess, Empress, Hanged Man, Judgment, or the World. Okay, so perhaps we can help. If you can give us your numbers, if you don't mind, then we can do it. So Kim's saying it reminds you of rebirth, and that is exactly it, isn't it? Because the death card is not just death, is it? It is death and rebirth, is transformation. It is, you know, just the changing of energy. It's change. That's what the death card is. So that's what I feel like I'm kind of bringing in here, is change. And that ties in very much with my idea of sovereign as well, because the way I'm exploring sovereign is to what that means to me is kind of my domain. What is my domain? And kind of self-sovereignty, really, I guess. And that whole idea of in Sharon Blackie's book, she talks about how in the olden days in Ireland there used to be well maidens who were like, I shared this story actually, Kim, you will have seen it inside the Kim's organised a pack of universal signals. So yeah, she talks about the well maidens. Let me finish telling this story. So the well maidens guarded the wells. Well, not so much guarded, they tended the wells throughout Ireland. And so if there was anyone who came who needed water, or any travellers who needed water, the maidens would give them water from the wells. And the water was beautiful and sparkling and energising and amazing. And then one day the king came to the well, and the well maiden brought him a drink of water. And instead of accepting the water and its kind of healing energy powers, he raped her. He raped the well maiden, and when his men, his court saw that happening, they did the same. And so the well maidens retreated, and they no longer came up to share their water with people. They moved back into the other world, and they stayed in the other world. And that shows that idea of, for me, it comes down to that idea of sovereignty of the land is not a thing that we take. It is a kind of pact with the land, and that is something that I'm exploring this year. You know, in my local area as well, I'm the place right in my garden, my home, and the places just around my home. And also from an environmental point of view, I'll be exploring that this year. And also from a personal boundaries point of view, my children are getting a bit older now, and I feel like I can be a little bit more, I can make my boundaries a little bit further out. You know, I'm moving my fences just a little bit further out. So, and you know, they are flexible. There's plenty of gates in my boundaries. But yeah, it feels like the right time to kind of move into that space. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I'm actually going to journal. I'm not going to do this now because I think it's time that we should turn over and go on to the next page. But I'm actually going to journal these ideas into these flowers. So yeah, sorry if I've just bummed you all out with that story. But you know, the reason I told it is because, you know, it's that is what happened. That, you know, it's a metaphor probably, but it's how the human relationship with the land is framed now is from a rape culture. It's a rape culture. Whereas, you know, I feel we really need to shift it back into a stewardship and co-creation, kind of co-management culture. So, you know, just a little bit of hardcore environmental philosophy for first thing on a Sunday morning. Although actually it's 12:15 already. Can you believe this? Oh my gosh, we've been on nearly an hour. And yes, Lachette, there is a Welsh version of that story. It's a little bit different, the Welsh tale. Yeah. So I can't decide how I'm gonna, I think actually I already prepared this. So I'm not gonna move on just yet because I know that I was thinking, how am I gonna write? Look at these, some of these stickers and things. These are all my washies and things that I'm gonna be using this year. Trying to burn myself on the candle. Also butterflies I'm gonna be using because of that whole kind of idea of transformation, death, rebirth thing. And I have some stickers of bones of animals and people and some gorgeous, gorgeous things. And somewhere in the bottom of this box, I've got loads of skull stickers, like I said. Different kinds of skulls. And I did make the words, so hopefully I will find these. So I'm going to stick death onto here. And there should be enough letters to make sovereign here. I've got like salt and bits of cinnamon stick in the bottom of this box. You know, as you do. Yeah, let's pick these things out. Oh, sorry, pendulum. Knocking you over. So this might be a silly idea because I don't know how I'm going to quite do it without getting glue everywhere, but you know, we can try. And like I said, once you've spoiled your first page, the rest of the journal doesn't seem so daunting anymore. Okay. So I can't find my O at the moment, but there must be one here somewhere. Oh, there it is. And then there's the salt. Okay. S-O-V. Oops. So I quite like experimenting with different kinds of lettering. Oh, where's my R? Where did you go, R? Maybe it's in amongst some of these. See, I should have just cut them out here, there and then, shouldn't I? But I thought, oh no, I'll be clever. I'll do it in advance because that will speed things up. Yeah, famous last words. But you get the idea of what I'm aiming for here anyway. Or hopefully you do. So there. Oh, hey Butterfly Magic. Thanks for joining us. So let's try and stick these on. I'm going to try and use very minimal glue because I want to be able to turn my page and not get it kind of lodged everywhere. Technical term. Northern Sky reads what tarot card is number 10. Number 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, Beth. I love it. Once you have, like I said, it gets much easier once you have kind of wrecked your first page. And then everything just feels much easier after that. Oh, Janetta. Right, did anyone work out Kerry's birth number? I saw her put it in. Liz, do you mean my lettering is very punk? Do you know, I thought this whole spread was kind of punk rock, to be honest. With the skull, with the crown on and everything. And like the king is dead. Somehow this is just feeling, it does all feel kind of punk rocky to me. And that kind of irreverent, kind of, we don't give a fuck, things are changing anyway kind of vibe. And that is how I'm feeling it. There we go. So we have sovereign. Let's get death on here. I might find a number 13 from somewhere as well to stick that on. Do you know what, actually? I think I might put that. I'm going to put this down here. You can see I've fully planned it out. And this was my most planned out spread, so... Right, okay, so yeah, that is basically this. Oh, sorry, Kerry, I didn't know you used they pronouns. Okay. So there we go. That is, like I said, not quite done because I'm going to use just my little 0.38 Muji pen now to, you know, some of the things we've already talked about, so that my feelings about what sovereign means to me, what death means to me, is going to be going journaled into these flowers like around. So I'll be like turning and writing. Perhaps once I've done it, I'll like take a photo, although some of it might be a bit personal, so I don't know. Yeah, Liz, feeling a bit Sex Pistolsy. Oh, thanks, Kerry. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's good. Thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure I don't make that mistake again. Okay, so let's move on. And this should be easy because this is just collage. I love a bit of collage. It's so easy to collage. Everybody can do it if you can cut things out and stick things on. You know, there's a reason why collage is popular in primary schools. It's easy and it looks really good. So, let's pop some of these skull stickers out of my way. Yeah, I love that, Kim, as well. I am feeling the Sex Pistols vibe from it. Although I'm kind of a bit more of a Ramones person. So, let's have a look what's going on here. So I think I'll do Damara first, actually. And I printed some stuff off Wikipedia and off the web more generally for Damara. And this is the card that... Kim, how can you use this at collage? If you can stick things in... It's impossible. I don't believe you. I think sometimes it's just... With collage, I think that's probably why I like it, actually, is that it is kind of haphazard and a bit anarchistic. So... I'm just going to tear this because I want kind of rough edges on this card. I have to be careful as well that I don't put these things into my candle. Or you'll be watching me putting out a fire rather than bullet journaling. And I was only teasing Janetta about taking notes. If that's what is feeling good for you at the moment, then that is totally cool. So yeah, this was the card that I drew out of the Doreen Virtue. I'm just going to stick this straight in. And that's how I tend to do my collages, is I won't plan it all out and then stick it on. I literally just go for it. So she's going on there. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, you can cock it up. You're right, Kim. You can sometimes cock it up. But then I find if you just stick more stuff on, it usually saves it. And you know, that's what washi's for. And there's another gorgeous picture. So when I pulled that card from the Doreen Virtue deck, do you know, and I don't think I'd ever drawn it before, not for me or for anyone else. I've used that deck a lot. So I looked into Damara and what she means. And according to Doreen Virtue, well, it says you're good at helping, counselling and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. And in the book, it says a little bit more about that, like about how... I'm going to take that. I want to kind of fit that here, but I don't want to take this. I'm going to take this tree off this. And I'll use this tree somewhere else. So... that made sense to me because this year I feel like sometimes I am getting caught up in the things that I'm interested in, which is great, but as we are home educating, I need to make sure that my children are being, you know, that their needs are paramount, really. That's my job, you know, to kind of make sure. So that's going to be a good challenge for me this year, that kind of sovereignty of self, but also being a good carer and protector for my citizens. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Lachette. So Lachette has worked out your card, Kerry, and Lachette thinks that it would be the Hanged Man. Thanks for doing that. That was my card for this year, actually, so it would be number 12, the Hanged Man. Thank you, Lachette. That's really sweet of you. Yeah, I think Tracy adding a vision board to your pages is really cool. I was also talking about in another group, maybe putting like a pendulum grid in here. I know Keegan does things like that in her journal, and finds it really useful. So yeah, Damara, so it's that kind of balance. And also in the guidebook, she says about working with your inner child as well, and how it's that kind of self-parenting. And I feel like that is something that will be something I'll be exploring this year as well. But I'm not totally convinced. It says that she's a Celtic goddess, and she's not in Patricia Monaghan, and I can't find any... Yes, Elaine, this is the goddess of the year, but I think that Doreen Virtue may have made her up. Or perhaps like slightly, well, that whole deck is kind of appropriative anyway. So I feel like perhaps she was looking for a kind of mother goddess, and she reminds me of my sister's got her like angel messages, or angels, you know, like an oracle deck, and it's oh, how can I say it without being, I don't want to be really mean to Doreen, but I think sometimes she is a little bit economical with the truth, and if she wants a goddess to fulfill a specific role, it is not beyond her to just make one up. And I think Damara may have been one of these Celtic goddesses that's not actually a Celtic goddess, because when you Google her, what comes up is links to Doreen Virtue's card and more information about that, basically. I'm trying to get into my washi now and I can't find where the little tear thing is. So, but I'm not dismissing it, because there's a reason why I took that card, and I feel like even if she's not a real goddess, whatever that means anyway. Oh no, Natasha's prosthetics run out. It's an emergency. Ooh, that's interesting, Omkwa. I didn't, yeah, Damara resin. Interesting. So I've got this crown washi that I'm going to use. Did I stick that in? No, I'm going to stick it in first. And then, yeah, yes, Kerry, there is a lot of that around. You know, people are like, oh, there's this goddess, it's a Celtic goddess, and then they, you know, and just using the word Celtic kind of makes it much harder to trace, because obviously Celtic is not like a homogenous body of literature or anything like that. There's a lot of different, you know, linked but different cultures in there. So yeah. But I'm not dismissing her. I am going to be... Oh, this washi is kind of hard to tear. I'm going to snip that instead. So she's there. She's in. And she's going to be my kind of touchstone for thinking about my relationship with self, with parenting to self, and with parenting my children. Yeah, I found that as well, that link, Kim, about her being in Patricia Telesco's book, but I couldn't find her in there, so I'm not sure. Right, Burgess, it sounds like you might need some help. Okay, so yes, I got ahead of myself. This page, because I was like, I don't think Damara's a real goddess, I used my other goddess deck, my Amy, her name has gone out of my head. It's two women who worked on the deck. Amy, I can't even think her name. No, gone from my head. And I pulled a card from there, and it was Minerva, which is a goddess that I work with quite a lot. So I felt like actually she is going to be my backup goddess because there is more story associated with her and things like that that I can pull on. And these are some of my images that go with that. And this is just to kind of block off that. Do you know what? I'm actually going to try and take off this kind of shape so it fits around the moon. Yeah. I'm happy with that. So that can go on. So these are out of this year's Wee Moon as well. I haven't torn anything out of the new diaries yet. Okay, so that's going there, and this is my Minerva, and I'll probably I will be adding to this. This is kind of like a starter page, so Andre, you're cracking me up. So I've missed some of the chat, I think, but hopefully I'm kind of up to date with it. So these are my goddesses. This is Minerva, this is Damara, and I will be journaling stuff onto here and adding things to these pages. They're kind of like a springboard for my relationship with these goddesses. And as I move through different journals as well, because I obviously won't be able to fit all of the year in one journal, then these pages will kind of evolve as I go through and as my connection with them grows and changes. So yeah. So Burgess is not showing your thing because you said shit. Yeah. There we go. So that's 2 spreads done-ish. So like I said, and all of these are kind of starter spreads. They're not finished spreads, and that is kind of how I work it. I like to keep things open-ended. So the next thing is the key. I'm going to rub out the pencil on here, and I'm going to just close my glue stick because it's already getting kind of gloopy and melted. Okay, so I'm going to actually cut this out. This is out of the Wee Moon as well. I'm going to cut out this signs and symbols at a glance bit. Should I cut it on here? I'm going to cut it, but I'm going to leave enough room to put washi on it. Okay, so signs and symbols at a glance. And then I've also got my own kind of signs and symbols that I use for these things, which I'm just going to write in. So I'm going to just kind of figure out. I think I'm going to stick this at the top actually, and then put my own little key down the bottom here. Yeah, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this because I'm going to washi it as well. Like I said, my glue is getting a bit gloopy. I think it's because I keep it up the attic, and the temperature, because I do most of my kind of spiritual stuff in my attic, and the temperature is very variable up here. It does get very warm sometimes if it's warm, and then it gets cold if nobody's up here and using the kind of the thing. So I experimented with some really crap lettering of key, and I didn't quite decide how. Do you know what, actually I'm gonna washi this first. What should we use for our signs and symbols? I think I'll use some of this crown washi along the bottom. I will too. It was just me being a bit rubbish beforehand. And there's some of these skinny golds, perhaps a bit of butterfly at the top. So I'm glad everyone seems to be enjoying it, and I hope your journals are starting to take shape as well. So I think maybe I won't stick any washi on the side of that actually, even though it's a little bit uneven. I might just use a, maybe we'll just kind of edge that a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty nice, I think. And I think I'm going to just use this to do my key. And let's just copy that in. So I just use a little bullet point to be my to-do, and then the bullet point is crossed out for done, and a little arrow for rescheduled. Oops, the glue on the other side is affecting this, and then cancelled. And then I also have a note. I have a little triangle for an event. I actually do colour that in, but I don't feel I need to to add that. And then I have a little symbol for a video for when I'm supposed to be having a video out or I need to do something with that. And then I have a little pentagram for special. So there we go. So I can see lots of people talking. Oh, Natasha, my lettering, honestly, I've got some good books on lettering, which I've got behind me, so I'll just show you these. These are, this one is really good. This is really good for like practicing. I've done quite a few of the exercises and things in here, and it seems really basic. Like my daughter laughs at me doing this because it's like really basic, but you know, it's getting it. And then there's some more kind of complex things in here. This one I probably don't like quite as much actually. This one is really cool. Some of them go on, because I'm not doing calligraphy and I'm not using any calligraphy pens. I'm using brush pens to do my lettering, or just like normal pens. And to be honest, I find that YouTube is just a really good source of that kind of thing. So yeah, there's my key, there's my index. I'm not going to do anything more with that. God, we're flying, guys, flying. Taking the paper clips out as I go along. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let's get past the index. I'm trying to get all the bits of rubber mess out of here. Okay, so next I've got my Wheel of the Year card spread, which I already did, and I took a photograph of it, and it's here. So I'm going to be sticking that in. I need to tidy up that edge a little bit. In fact, you know, I think I'm going to take it down to the edge of the... I actually took this photo on my yoga mat, and I didn't really think it through how kind of busy it was going to be, but never mind. I kind of like it. It's definitely a more maximal approach in my bullet journal than in some. But that's okay, I'm good with that. I'm actually going to keep that piece of paper there in case I need anything else to scribble on. So I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see all my crazy mess. Can you still see the journal? Okay, yeah, okay. So let's move those up a little bit. I don't need that anymore. I've got like a little bag under my desk, like a paper, but like a strong card bag. So it's it's really handy to just kind of pop in any little bits and bobs of paper and ephemera and stuff, and then I have a little rummage in there if I want something for like a background or anything like that. So Andrea, what are you getting me into now? Ravensong's got her coffee. I'm going to feel like I'm going to need to have another cup of tea, but then I'm worried I'm going to have to go and have a wee, and you know. So this page is my Wheel of the Year card spread page. Oh, okay, so now we've got a Jessica Star made me do it hashtag. Brilliant. And I'm not going to be making anybody do anything in 2019 because I'm going to be just using stuff that I've already got, so hopefully that's cool. Butterfly Magic, do I have calligraphy suggestions? Right, okay, so I don't do calligraphy. I only do what they call modern hand lettering, or modern calligraphy, which is what they talk about in this book, and they talk about the different ways in which you can do it. And like, if to do calligraphy you need to have one of these proper nibbed pens, and they come in all different kind of shapes and sizes, and they're also quite expensive. I do have like a fountain pen, but I I just don't use it. I use these pens, these Tombos, and also these Faber-Castell pens, and they've kind of got like brush tips on them like this. And so you just practice. I wonder if there's some practice pages in here. You basically practice doing that. When you do your down strokes, you have to do like a firm down stroke, which makes it very thick, and then when you do your up strokes, you do a very fine upstroke. And then once you kind of practice with that quite a lot, it's oh, Andrea, thank you. Just catching up on the chat. But you know, you don't even have to use stuff like this. There's loads of really good YouTube videos, and to be honest, videos I find much more useful than books for it, because watching somebody do it and then practicing it is really, you know, it really helps, because you can kind of go along with them and do it. You can also get like kind of erasable, Tombow make those as well, like erasable practice things to practice on, which you can then just wipe it off and start again. Okay. I know everyone's getting some more washi. Well, you know, I did buy more washi for this year. I might already have a box, I'll show you. I may already have a rather large box of washi. It's not that bad actually. You know, there's only about 50 rolls in here probably. And you know, and there's a little pile there. But you know, that's going to last me for ages. Sometimes though, when I go into like the works, or in Poundland here in the UK, they also do washi and stuff, sometimes some really cute ones. My daughter also loves it as well. Okay, so this is my Wheel of the Year spread. I'm going to just do these little, in fact I'm going to colour the flags first. I think I'll do them in slightly different colours. I've got really like a kind of nice pale Tombows here that I think I'm going to use. So let's do that. They're not actually, well, because you have to have skills. You can do all sorts of kind of really lush blending and colouring with the Tombows, and that's one of the things that it's going to be on my list for learning next year. But at the moment, I mainly just use them for lettering. So I'm not like fully exploiting their capabilities right now. Some people really don't like them, and I thought when I bought them, I know I've said this before in a video, that just by buying them suddenly my lettering was going to become amazing, because you know, it was clearly just because I didn't have the right pens. But yeah, it turns out that's not true, and actually you do have to practice, which is a bit of a bummer, but you know, such is life. Okay, so how are we doing oh my gosh guys, we've been over an hour. I hope you're all not getting too bored. Yeah, Lachette, they do often have practice sheets in the books, which can be handy, but you can definitely print them out online. Quite a few of the kind of big time bullet journalers have like downloadable printables as well that you can download to practice different lettering styles and things like that. Because you know, you can literally learn, like my days of the week are starting to get much better because I've been doing them so much and just like learning that kind of style of doing things. It's exactly 1 month before Christmas. Oh, that's freakish. That is freakish. Okay, so I'm just going to add in the banner, the bunting string. Might go around the pennants a little bit as well. Oops, I'm going a bit slippy. What I like about the Tombows as well is the colours. They literally have so many different colours. They are expensive, and you can buy like a massive set of them, which I would love, but I haven't. I've been buying them like quite often. You'll find the packs of like 6 of them perhaps on sale, so I've like treated myself to like a pack of greys and a pack of pastels and things like that. And probably like in the massive set I wouldn't need to. When I speak about my Wheel of the Year page. Yeah, sorry Jeanette, I've just kind of got involved in just doing it and I haven't talked about it. So basically this is just a reference page for the cards that came out in my Wheel of the Year spread. And I think I saw somebody asking about it's Michelle 18 Thomas, that's impressive. So it's I did a video all about it. In fact, I've done quite a few videos. I uploaded a video with a link to my blog, which has got this spread as like a PDF that you can print out. You don't have to give me your email address or anything, you can just print it straight out off the page. And it gives you the positions for doing this spread. And then it's basically, though, it's so simple. It's just the cards going around in the wheel, you know, so like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December going around the outside, and then there's some oracle cards and things in the middle. So you don't have to do it like that. You can use just one deck, but I find using a few different decks is more useful. And I just kind of wanted to make it a little bit more kind of festival-y. That's why I kind of wanted to decorate it like that, really. I just wanted to make it look a bit more pretty than just a kind of basic title on the page. This one doesn't have as much symbolism and things in it as I know the other Wheel of the oh yeah, I think I said Wheel of the Cards, I think I've put in instead, because that looked better on the flags. So yeah, it's not a particularly like symbolic use of stuff on this page. Hey Amethyst Soul. Yeah, this is a photograph that I took of my spread when I did it, and I've just literally printed it off on my printer. And I use cream paper. It's not quite, you can probably get off white paper. You're bound to be able to, aren't you, to do this. But I already had a pack of cream paper, so it doesn't quite stand out. Have I got any white paper somewhere? So if I'd use white, it's much more of a contrast between the, I just prefer it kind of blends in a little bit more, so that's why I print it off on cream. And then I'm just going to write the months in and write out the name of the card and perhaps like a couple of keywords for the card that goes with that. So yeah, I'm going to stick that on. I'm going to do the writing first and then rub it out, and I think I'll stick it on after that. Shall I use a colour for this? I think I'm going to use I'm going to do it in a, probably a bit too dark. Okay, I'm just going to use that, I think. So the Tombows, they are dual brushed, so they have two pens on them basically. They've got the big brush pen there, and then they've got the short little nib pen. Andre, you're going to love that, aren't you? So I'm just going to write the months on just super simply. And you might be wondering why I wrote them out in advance, and it was because just to try out how they're going to fit on the page, and also because I know from experience that if you don't, sometimes you can miss one out because you're kind of concentrating on doing the writing. And then you forget a month, and then that's really annoying. You have to figure out a way of correcting it then. Okay, so that's all the months. And then I've also got a woman rune, which is from the Woman Runes deck, but you don't have to use a woman rune. It's just like, it's like an oracle card. And I take a goddess guide. And I took a witchling card. But again, you don't have to do any of that for yours. I also did a plant ally card, which was from the illustrated herbiary deck, and then an oracle card, which was actually Spirit de la Lune, but I thought if I write Spirit de la Lune there, I'll have no space left to write what actually came out. Ooh, Lachette's going in with some watercolour. And do you know, I really want to see what you guys are doing as well, so... and some new people coming. Hi guys. I don't see it as putting work into it though. But I suppose I kind of do, in that, you know, like when you put your work and your energy into something, it just makes it so much more powerful. So the pen should be dry enough, hopefully here enough for me to just rub out this. Yeah, you know, the more you use it, the more energy you put into it, the kind of more magical it is. So when you write things like intentions and goals and stuff into here, then some of the work has already been done for you. Well, not done for you, done by you. Okay. I need like one of those little dusting brushes. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I'd love that. Dust out my book after I've done this. So I won't bother filling in all my cards here, but basically that is what I will be doing. I'll fill in my cards and to be honest, there's not gonna be loads of room to do it, but I'll put the card, and I might put like a keyword or a couple of keywords to link to that card. I did my kind of journaling about this spread in my existing bullet journal, my 2018 bullet journal, because that's obviously when I pulled the cards. So I wrote up my spread in there rather than here. This is just like a little reference point so I can look back. Beth asked me, actually, I think Beth was here, I don't know if she's still here, about how this feeds in then when I pull the cards for each month. And what I find is that this is kind of like a long view, so like taking a photograph from a very long way away, especially like, as you know, as we get further down the year, it gives you a kind of overall impression, but it doesn't give you so much specific detail. Whereas then when I take a card for each month as I'm at that month, that's the kind of more immediate energy of that month. So yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stick this in now. Oh, I'd love that if you guys did VRs with the hashtag, or if you don't make videos, then perhaps just like tag me on Instagram if you're on Instagram or something like that with it. I'd love to see, because you know it's so lush. Sometimes people tag me now as well, and they're not even people because like I kind of know quite a few of you are talking here in the chat now, but some people who I don't like know tag me in posts saying I've done this spread, and I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. It's lovely. I love seeing that people are actually applying it. It's like really a practical form of magic that you can just apply really easily into your life. And you don't have to do it the way I do it. You know, this is how I like to do it, but it's totally cool to do it however you want. But yeah, I would like that. I'd like to see it. Okay, so I've got this massive pile of crap here. Yeah, I've got some stuff on Minerva here as well, and some of my goal planning, things like that. Move it across a little bit just to create a bit more space. So I'm wondering about putting some washi and stuff on here, but I think I'm going to leave that where it is for now and go on to the next one. So, oh, good night, Tracy. I know it's really late for you here where you are. It is time consuming, and obviously this is like the annual setup, so this is going to take a lot more time than than your daily setup. It literally takes you like 10 minutes a day. Right, so this is going to be my astrology, and I don't usually write this out in advance, but I have written it out on here because I didn't think I was going to be able to do that kind of work and talk about it at the same time. So, but I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about it because astrology is something that I'm going to be sharing a bit more about on my channel next year, because I see a lot of people asking about it. I feel like it's something that needs to be kind of talked about. I think I'm going to use this like pale blue to do this. Oh, it's looking nice, looking nice. Okay, so I'm just literally going to just do like a stripe across the top as my header here, because this is a kind of very basic spread, there's not. And if you use the dual brushes on the side like this, you can kind of go, there's obviously something, I took the one clip out, but yeah, look, there's another clip getting in my way there. So, I'm just going to write astrology. Okay, so how's that? Thanks, Janetta. I just like, no one's going to watch this if it's 2 hours. Surely you'll all have gone off and found other things to do, I'm sure. So, yeah, how are we looking? We're almost up to an hour and a half already, and we have got a few more spreads to do. In fact, these ones are a little bit more practical, so perhaps if I just get my head down and crack on, it'll be fine. So basically what I do every year is do a kind of astrology overview of the year for me. Now this for you might look like just taking some pages out of something like the wee moon and sticking it in. You know, if you're a kind of astrology beginner, they have things like these astrological overviews. You could even just copy that in if you wanted to. So thanks, Bella. So you could just copy that out. I take inspiration from this. I also read, well, I read all the astrological information in all of the diaries I bought. You probably will have seen that I've done some videos about this. So, you know, about the different diaries I use. So I take all the astrological information from there. I look at I look at like an ephemeris of the year, which is basically just like a map of the stars for the year and what everything is doing, so that I can see how that is playing out. But then I also relate that back to my own chart. So like, say, you know, astrology is so kind of many layered, and that is why I want to do more information about this on my channel next year now. But it can get complicated really quickly. So I don't know how helpful it's going to be kind of sharing exactly what I've got here, because this information is kind of more pertinent to me, because it is about, like, say for example, massive thing that's happening next year in astrology is that on March the 6th, Uranus is moving into Taurus, and it is staying in Taurus for 8 years. So that energy is going to affect us all. You know, it's interesting how things are going to pan out with Uranus, which is much more, well, you know, if we look back at our key, what does it say? Which is one of the reasons why I pulled this out, because I thought it would be helpful. Uranus is the planet of cosmic consciousness and revolutionary change. And instead of being in fiery Aries, which is all about kind of me, not necessarily in a bad way, but, you know, in a kind of like pushing things forward way, it's moving into Taurus. Taurus is a much more stable, earthy sign. So it's actually going to probably put the brakes on Uranus a little bit and make that change, that kind of revolutionary change, more practical, more grounded. I feel like it's also going to be a time where, because Taurus is so earthy, I feel like it's going to be a time where more people are going to be waking up to that consciousness of earth and working with the earth and being in tune with the cycles of the earth and things like that. So yes, Bella's saying that it's going to be world changing. I hope so, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, layers are brilliant. Jules is working with their lunar returns this year, or his lunar returns this year. But just, yeah, I've been reading my chart now since I first got interested in astrology when I was about 14 years old, and I found a book over in my friend's house about it. And I'm 40 years old now, and I feel like I'm still a beginner. There's so much to know, but it's so fascinating. And what I'm going to do with the series is start really basic, and then just kind of layer it. So I'm hoping by the end of the series, I'm not sure how long it's going to take, how many episodes it's going to be or anything like that, but by the end I want everybody to be able to understand their own natal chart. I want them to understand about how the transits that are going on in the world at the moment kind of interact with their natal charts and things like that. So What I also include in mine, oh, let me finish talking about that Taurus thing. So Uranus is moving into Taurus for 8 years, which is really powerful. That's going to affect us all. But for me then, I will then look at my own natal chart and look at where Taurus is in my natal chart. Now, Taurus is my 8th house in my natal chart. It rules my 8th house. And my moon is in Taurus. And so, you know, you can look at then how Uranus is going to be sitting next to the other planets that are in there and sitting in that kind of 8th house, that house of death and rebirth energy, you know, so it's tying back in with this. It's bringing change, it's bringing death and rebirth for me, perhaps even more so than people who've got Taurus ruling their 3rd house, say, you know. That might be more about how they're communicating with, you know, things they maybe, perhaps things they're doing in the local community, like litter picks and things like that. So yeah, it's more personal. So what I take the kind of more general and then I dial it down so that it affects me to see how it's going to affect me on a more personal level, which areas of my chart it's kind of highlighting and stuff like that. I also use progress charts, which I don't know if I will talk about it. I probably will talk about this. So this is my progressed chart. And it's a bit like showing your underwear in public, showing your chart. So I'm not going to wave it around too much, but it's... Oh, see you, Kim. Oh, hi, Raquel. Oh, Belle, that's frustrating. You could probably work it out, though, if it might not matter too specifically. Maybe message me about it. We can talk about it. So the progress chart is basically a chart that is for every year of your life. It progresses 1 day from your natal chart. And your progress chart is kind of like, you can do that chart for a whole year and it will give you like the kind of energies and things that are going on for a year. And I've got my progress chart against my natal chart, and this is already getting ridiculously complicated. So I'm going to stick that in here as like a little flap thing, and then I've just got notes about the long-term influences, which is Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn. There's a whole kind of pile up of energy in yeah, things are all kind of piling in to Capricorn. So that's going to be an interesting energy as well. I've also got some stuff about the eclipses here, which are all quite powerful, as you know, as they always are, but they're lining up really interestingly this year. Sometimes the retrogrades. Oh, and that's something I tend to do as well. Is in the Astrocal, they have this handy retrograde table, so I'm going to cut that out and just clip that in with a paper clip into here. And what else was I going to put in there? Oh, that's where my lunar calendar, when I get the new one off Gwen, I'll probably just clip that in there as well, so that I've got the kind of how things are moving through the month as well. So do you know what? I'm actually not going to write that, even though I've kind of made, because it's not going to be that useful, because it's personal to me information. Do you know what I mean? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that one. I will do like a kind of flick through of it all finished. I'll put that somewhere like on my Instagram or something for you guys to see later. So I'm going to take those things out. I just pop them to one side. And let's have a look what's next. Okay, so my goals page. Now, again, I'm not going to fill this in here now because I haven't completely finalised this yet. So I'm going to just do the same. I'm going to do a really just basic stripe across the top. And I'll fill that in. I've played around with a couple of different ways of writing goals. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use yet. You could outline that as well, and that would look kind of cool. Lots of people do that, like just kind of black. In fact, I might do that on here and see what it looks like. Or if you didn't want it to be quite so stark, you could just use a grey. So yeah, kind of like that, you know, just to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'll probably do that for all of that. And I'll write my goals in there once I've honed them down. Because even though I start working on my goals at Samhain, I don't actually... They don't become finalised, kind of crystallised until that kind of weird liminal space between Christmas and New Year's. So, oh, Raquel. you haven't been using it. Do you know, when I watched your video, it was so lovely, your video. Raquel made a beautiful video of her journal and it looks so gorgeous. But I just was like, you've put a lot of stuff to do in there. So I was a little bit worried that you were going to find it not nurturing, like kind of a little bit more of a bind. So I you know I went on about that all the time when I was talking about the setups, but it's Andrea's already colouring. Well, that's lovely. Now you can rip them out and stick them into your journal when you get one. So yes, Raquel, you are not naughty, you are wonderful, and you just use things that work for you. It's not a stick to beat yourself with, you know, it should be nurturing. So this is going to be, this is something we probably all want to do. So I will do this now, and if you want to do one now, we could all do it together, yeah. What am I doing? I think I'm going crazy. So this is going to be the Tarot Daily Draw Tracker. Where's my existing one? And I can show you. What have I done with that? I've got my one from the start of the year here somewhere, so I can show you that. Was it in here? I did have one in here. Oh, I know, I didn't do it until later on, so perhaps it is not at the start. Daily Draw Tracker 136. So yeah, also I haven't done this now, but I'll copy all these things into the index so that I know where to find things. So this is my Daily Draw Tracker, and it's basically going to be the same idea as this. You can do your title however you want to do it, and then it's just the months and the days like that. So I've started to pencil in the months and the days because I wanted to make sure again that the layout was going to work. Okay, so let's do this. So I think I'm going to actually just put the numbers in first, which is the boring bit. So you guys doing this now with me? I actually find it when I'm doing it on my own, I find this kind of mundane kind of copying out of things to be really grounding and quite relaxing actually in a way. It doesn't feel so relaxing doing it as a live video, but I really wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted you guys to be able to be part of this. You know, it's been I've so appreciated it that anyone is remotely interested in me doing this. So that's January, and now I've got to remember that February, in fact I think I went all the way down to the bottom of February because I knew that I might just carry on going to 31 which is always the worry. I probably should have started with these spreads first, these spreads that probably everyone is going to want, rather than the kind of more personal spreads. If I do it next year, maybe we can do it like that. But it'll be good, you can give me some feedback. Okay. It looks like a calendar. It basically is like a calendax. But it just says, I don't put my mundane stuff in mine, I keep them separate. It says more book. Yeah, okay, so yeah. And some people prefer to do it that way. They really find that keeping them separate works better. A big part of my practice is weaving those two things together. So I don't find there's any separation for me between the magical and the mundane. They are one and the same. So it just makes sense to me to have it all together in one space. But it's taken me quite a few years to get to that place. So, and you know, different people might start with it like that and then go somewhere completely different. You know, we're all on our own journeys. 29, 30, 31. Raquel, yeah, I don't make my bed either. I do occasionally I do. Okay, so what, hang on. Oh, Andrea, I'm loving that you're here. It's so weird because I was thinking about it. I thought, I haven't spoken to Andrea for ages, and then you're here, so that's really lovely. Have your key. Okay, yes, I do have a key. So up here, I've got a colour code for wands, cups, swords and coins, and majors are a different colour. And I also put the moons on here, so I have full moon and dark moon on here, which I also just draw in next to the numbers. So, and then I just write that, I colour in the box, which with whatever the card is, and then I write the number of the card. So like if it's the 6 of wands, then I'll use the colour for wands and just write 6 on there, or if it's the majors 6. And I do clip in this just to remind myself. I do know them. I know them, but just as a kind of little reference for the numbers for the majors, so I can just quickly refer to that if I need to. So I just keep that clipped in with like a little bulldog clip, and that also keeps my place in the journal for my, so I can just flip quickly to my tracker. Yes, Raquel, definitely. But you know, it's good to start small. Sorry, I hope it's not going to be too loud, but I've just gone to put the heater on because my feet are getting freezing, and I've got fluffy socks on. So sorry if that's going to be vaguely annoying noise in the background. Hopefully it's more soothing than annoying. Just start really simple, like literally, maybe just start by writing one, just keep it as a gratitude journal perhaps, and literally just write something every day that you're grateful for. Don't try and do, a tracker, a planner, a journal page and all that sort of thing all in one go. Yeah, Burgess is saying that she's got 2 channels now, and if you like kind of arts and crafty stuff, you'll love Burgess's channel. Her main channel, she does kind of lots of art and crafty tutorials and demos and stuff. Oh, thanks, Bella. I'm glad you can't. It's just going to warm me up a little bit because I am getting a bit chilly. And now she's started a new channel for her journal as well. So yeah, so there we go. Right, let's do April. There's lots of really cool people I like watching online with it. I like watching people, the more kind of secular, non-witchy channels as well. But there's something special about watching people, like I love Burgess's new channel where she's sharing about her spiritual journey, because it's just really cool hearing about people's spiritual paths and how they incorporate their creativity into that path. So I love hearing about that. So this is where, if I was filming like a plan with me, I would speed this up now and it goes and it'll be done. But I can't do that in real time, so we're just going to have to do it all together. So how many people are actually doing their tarot trackers now with me, or are you doing something different? Oh, Raquel, I'm speaking from experience when I say this, because that is exactly me. Oh, Denny's doing hers. And Jules. Oh, Elaine's doing her body track. Oh, hi Elaine, I thought I'd lost you for a minute there. I'm really intrigued to see what everyone else is going to be doing, so I do hope you are going to share them. It would have been cool if you could have kind of chatted. I think I saw something about like it being like a video chat where everyone can kind of see what everyone else is doing as well, which would be a really cool way of doing it, but I'm not sure I understand the technology enough to do that. In fact, I'm quite amazed that I managed to get this filming and being able to see the chat on my laptop, which is over there. Oh, Lane's back with lunch. Oh, I know, I am going to be hungry. I'm on July now. And I will do, as Tracy suggested, go through and do like a kind of, so you can click the times. Oh wow, you can have up to 100 people in like a chat, in a video chat? That's bonkers. Wow. Yeah, I know mine's not going to last a full year either, but for some reason, I don't know why, I like to have the whole year on here. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I tend to use 3 journals in a year, so I will end up copying this over. Although I don't fill in, I don't like back fill in what I did, what I've pulled. So I could just do it. I could just do it for a shorter time. I don't know, somehow I just see it as a kind of full spread, so I have to do it like this, but yeah, I don't have to, do I? Aww, that's cool, Shadow Moon. Oh, so you've already done yours, Sovereign Sacre? Sacra? Is it like Sacra, like heart? Sovereign heart? It doesn't mean sovereign heart. Oh, I love that. I've never like properly thought about it. So this is where when I look at my letters and I think, oh my gosh, they look just so grim. My numbers, I should say, not my letters. Because you do tend to kind of rush a little bit because you get a bit bored of doing it. You're all holding your breath and thinking I was going to do 31. Oh, vanilla slice and a cup of tea, and now I'm really jealous. I don't think I can talk and write numbers at the same time. Sacred sovereignty. Oh, I love it. Love it. In which language? Is it French? Or no, it can't be French because that's not... Oh, does it? Yeah. You tell me. Rather than me just making a stab at it. Last month. And it always makes me feel like I'm time traveling when I do this. It's like, whoa, December 2019. You know, it's so weird, isn't it? Or maybe it's not, maybe I'm weird. But definitely when I write out calendar type pages, it does make me feel like I'm time traveling. I sort of think, boy, will I be? What will I be doing then when we get here? When I'm filling in this, you know. In fact, I won't be filling in this because, like Danny said, I'm not going to actually make it to that in this particular journal. And look, I've already got bits of rubber on the front of my journal. I don't tend to put anything on the fronts of my journals, but oh, good, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. French, oh, good. I thought I was losing my mind for a minute then. Okay, so all the, I use my Muji to do that. I use my Muji to do all the kind of small writing. It was a complete, like, mind blower for me when I found out that small pens actually mean you can write small in spaces a lot easier. So what colours am I going to use? So I think I'm going to use more gentle pastels, although these are quite similar. So I think I'm going to go with this. So swords is going to be yellow. Coins is going to be green. Wand is going to be this like pinky. I haven't got an orange, so I did have an orange actually. And then cups is going to be this kind of aqua blue. And then the mages are, I like to do them with this kind of like almost grey blue. Oh, thanks Andrea. Have a lovely lunch with your mum. Okay, so the mages is this kind of bluey purple colour, which I really like. And then full moon is just a empty circle, and then dark moon is a full circle. I'm just going to write there. And you know, if you've got fancy handwriting, you can use fancy handwriting here, but I just literally use block caps like that. And as I was afraid of, I don't think I can talk while I'm doing stuff like that. So we need to put the month headings on. I think last year I used my little, a different pen by Tombow, which is this Fujinoski brush tips, which have got like smaller brush tips, because if you try and use the Tombow to do these tiny little things, it doesn't really work very well. But I do want to write in, I can't remember how I did it. I think I wrote tarot tracker. I might have just written tarot. Let's see how that looks. I'm just going to go for it and write tarot in I think that's in a grey, I think. Yeah. Or shall I write daily draw and then do tarot? No, I'm going to write tarot. So okay, and I'm going to write daily draw just kind of through that. Okay, so that probably could have been a little bit more fancy, but that will do. And days, so I'm going to use a little Fujinoski pen to do this now. How many spaces between each row? Oh, okay, so I started, my first number 1 is the 3rd space in, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, so 7 down, 3 in that square, and then they just kind of go 1, 2, 3, so it's 4, it's in the 4th space, so there's 3 empty, there's 3 blank squares in between each row. That was a very long-winded way of answering that question, wasn't it? Okay, so let's put the months in. I definitely will struggle to talk while I'm doing this. Ooh, that was a bit weird. And like, you have got to be like okay with it not looking brilliant. And there is some ghosting with this, but it doesn't actually come through. So even though it is quite a full-on black, it doesn't lead, which is really good. Oh, I shouldn't have put that T on the end of it, should I? All the rest of them have just been like... But you know, like, the overall thing is that this is a working document. And so how it looks is important because it should please you aesthetically for you, but it's not, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, you know, because it's above that, in my opinion. You know, it's like it's functional first, beautiful second, apart from that the beauty does feed into how much you love it. Oh, thanks, Janetta. I'm opening another washi because I think I'm going to use this gorgeous darky blue and gold foil washi. Oh, thanks, Burgess. I think your second channel's cool. I think it's just a matter of probably people figuring out, and like it might, like you said, it might not be the people your existing following might not all want to come over. Oh god. And that's the good thing about washi, is you can take it off and put it back on if you cook it up, like I just did. So it sometimes just takes time to find the right people, doesn't it? So why am I having such trouble with this? Probably because I'm chops in instead of sticking. So that's going to go on there. I feel like I might want something here as well, perhaps even underneath as well. I'm going to put a little bit of this here. It's probably a bit low actually of the thing. And I should have a little skinny, yeah, here we go. That's great, Elaine, I'm glad. I'm sorry that that's what they all do. If you watch like the kind of bullet journaling channels, they tell you how many squares and all that sort of jazz. I forget. I'm new to sharing this stuff with other people. And you know what, I think I'm going to stick in one of my little skull stickers on here. It feels like that is, we could do with a little something here. I think I just might stick this little bird skull there. Although it'd be good if I could have one that faced the other way. I wonder if I've got one there facing that way. They all seem to be facing the other way. So that's too big. Oh no, it might just be okay actually. Might just be able to squeeze it in. Get a little skull on there for my theme. Yeah, okay. So that looks kind of cool, yeah? I need to rub out that thing, but actually I'm going to leave the Sujanowski pen to dry a little bit longer before I do that. Okay, so yeah, so that will be filled in. I'm just trying to look if there's any question. Would you include your birthday on that daily chart? Yes, but not, I don't do anything particular to mark it out on here. You could do though, that would be cute, couldn't it? You could do like a little star or something like that. Rub it out. Oh, the pencil, because I penciled underneath to know where I was going to be doing, so you can see like the faint pencil lines. Oh, and that's what I haven't done as well, which I will do, is draw around these just to make them kind of stand out a little bit better. Okay. So yeah, that looks pretty cool, huh? I feel like I could do with something down here. I might like write a quote or something down there, but I haven't got anything to do that yet with. So, and now this is going to be another tracker. This is the Blood Moon tracker, which I'm going to do sideways actually this time. And I think I'm going to have like Blood Moon as my title here. So I'm going to put the months going across like this. So if you don't have a uterus that bleeds monthly, you won't want this spread, but if you do, I find it really handy. And I like to just do like a little kind of collage-y thing down here. So I might just, let's do the collage first, I think. Get the inspo going. So this is out of the Wee Moon again. I'm going to use that as kind of a base for this collage. It's going to be cool as well how it feels so good when you get to January the 1st of a new year and you've already got your journal kind of sorted and ready. It's just like, I feel so accomplished. Or I do. Anyway, small things. Okay. And now, because my sovereignty thing is tying in with the blood moon, I'm going to use this, so I feel like my kind of woman body cycle a part of that, and that's kind of my like motif for that going through. There we go. And yeah, I'm part of my depth here. I can see you guys talking about washi, which is awesome, and I love washi. It's so handy for so many other things as well, not just in bullet journaling. I've just ripped off the artist, that's a bit of a shame. It's Threshold by Carrie Martinez, which is a bit naughty of me. Do you know, I think I'm gonna take it down a little bit thinner again though. I quite like that blue top, so I don't want to get rid of that. I'm going to go here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that's going to get stuck on there. But what was I saying? I was saying about washi. I'm not going to be buying any more washi in 2019. That is going to be one of the things I'm going to use what I've got. And like I said, my themes I think are going to be more flowing through of the death and the rebirth and the crown. The sovereign theme is that. Okay, and these are all out of the Wee Moon actually. I find the Wee Moon a really good source of blood moon imagery, surprisingly, or not. So I'm going to use that there, I think, because I just wanted to kind of cover up the title, but I don't want to cover up the... I'm going to go here. Follow this kind of curve. Yeah. And then this Maiden Mother Crone by Elspeth McLean. Do you know, I actually don't want ripped edges on that. I'm going to clip it. And I like to stick in the... I'm going to just pop that behind. Yeah. I like to stick in the... What am I on about? The piece from the Wee Moon, which has the moons in a circle. I'll find it and show you now. They have it in there every year, and it's lovely. I might just take it out of my this year's one and stick it into here, but I will show you now because it's not blood moon specific. It is it's about the different moon phases, but I find it's the most beautifully poetic explanation of the moon phases, and I love that. Okay, so my gloopy glue stick. It's causing a few problems, but it's all good. I'm going to add this little bit down the bottom here as well to kind of tie in that top and bottom a little bit. Kind of want it there, I think, around the moon. Yeah. That's nice, hey? So yeah, I'll add, let's find it to show you. I will be putting in, I'm saying this now and I probably won't be able to find it. Or maybe it's at the back actually. I've done flip throughs of these, which you probably will have already seen. No, not at the back. I'm sure it is in here because they have it in here every year. Ah, there it is. So I cut out this and I just have that with a bit of washi as like a kind of hinge so that it hinges over. But I think what I'm actually going to do is take it out. I'll just do that now. Take it out of my existing journal and swap it into there rather than cutting it out again. So it's just like that on like a little hinge. So that will be that, and that just hinges out so you can still see the picture underneath. So there we go. I will go in and kind of tidy up the glue in probably a little bit on these at some later point, or maybe I won't. Oh, Lachette's making things. She's gone for a tea break. I know. I think I need a tea break, but no, I'm good actually. I feel okay. Need to click on. Right, I'm going to turn my heater back off because now I'm getting a little bit hot and bothered. Right, so now let's work on this blood moon page. This is my one from my existing journal, and so I'm going to kind of use that same idea. I'm putting things on my keys of my laptop now, which is not good. I'm getting a bit squeezed on my desk. So I think I'm going to use that grey again, that kind of not massively dark but sort of dark grey. Oh, I don't want to lose that either. That's out of my tarot tracker, which will just get clipped back in there. Okay, so I'm going to use the thin end just to write the months on. Or should I use? I haven't got like a nice red in these, but I could use. Ashley bought me some lovely. Or actually, what about this? The Paper Make My Ink Joy. That could work. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to write them in red. So I just write the whole of March in. It always feels a bit weird writing Mar. And there should be enough room to easily write the months in going up the page like this. Okay, so there's my months. Yes, Lachette, I'm sorry, we are officially going over. Sorry. Well, what do you want to do? Should we stop here and I could just share my finished spreads? What have we got left to do? I've got my kind of video tracker stuff, which is not going to be interesting to you guys anyway, and just book lists and songbook. And then I did have in the back my future log, which is another kind of Calendex type page, and then my wish list. So should we all take a break? Let me know what you want to do. Jeanette's saying no. But let's see general consensus, because perhaps we could pick it up again another day maybe. Or I could just share them when they're done, you know. Just having some water. Okay. I'll keep filling this in just for a sec while I'm waiting for people's responses. So last year I tried to kind of make this match up with the days, because weirdly, well maybe not weirdly, I find that I nearly always have my heaviest period days on a Tuesday. So it was interesting for me to kind of match them up with the days of the week, but it made it really difficult to fit it all in. So I'm gonna just do it like that. Okay, so people are staying. Well, yeah, I feel like I just got started. Okay. All right, well, as long as you guys are happy, I'll carry on going. And, you know, obviously you guys can take a break whenever you want to. You can go if you need to, which is cool as well. So I'll try and kind of be less wordy and just kind of crack on a little bit more with what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put the days in now again, but obviously this time going across the page instead of going down. Well, my candle is going berserk. What is going on? Something weird is happening. I think there might be like a helicopter going on over the top. It's gone a little bit weird. Okay, so let's fill this in anyway. So I'm going to start. So I'm doing this in the 1, 2, 3, 4th box down I've started. And then if you go every other space, that fits them in nicely. And I'm obviously just going to write all the way to the end of the month with what is needed. So I'm going to have to remember to stop in certain places for certain months. I tend to put the moons, the full and new on this one as well, which I haven't filled in yet on my tarot tracker either, but I will go back and fill in that on all of these. Okay, so that's January, so we're time travelling again now. Through February. And like as you go through the dates of when things are happening, like it's my mum's birthday and my daughter's birthday in February, and also the anniversary of my grandfather dying. So it feels like I'm travelling through all these things now. Oh, I did it. I did 29 instead of 28. So we're going to need the white out to go over that. There. Like it never happened. So normally when I do my annual setup, I do it like over a period of a few days, quite a few days usually, because I just kind of fill things in as I'm ready to kind of address those things. So this is new for me, doing it all in one go, but it's going to be kind of cool, I think. Obviously I've got things I need to go back and finish off. But having the kind of bones, the skeleton of it all in place is actually feeling really good already. You know, we're not even in December yet. So that feels really good. And the monthly setup is more simple, so that won't take anywhere near as long. It's really hard talking and doing this at the same time. But I'm conscious of like sitting in silence doing it. It feels really nice as well doing it with other people. It'd be really cool if we were kind of all in a room together just kind of doing it, and we could be like sharing pens and stuff then as well. I'm glad I'm not the only one using the white out. Or Tipex we call it here, but that's just like the brand that is like the main brand of it. I haven't found anywhere yet that recycles those mouses, I was going to say that. So I'm going to need to figure that out. So June with 30 days. Let's see if I've missed anything. Yeah, watching for mistakes is good as well. Oh, can I explain the spacing? Sure. So it is, we're starting in the 1, 2, 3. The 4th space down is where I've written Jan, not June. And then I'm just leaving a space, leaving a space, writing all the way down to the bottom, and that just fits it in perfectly in the Leuchten, which is what I'm using. The pen is a Muji, and the journal is a Leuchten 1917. Yeah, Muji gel pen. I love these gel pens. I bought like a pack of 12 of them. They're quite reasonable as well. So yeah, it's Muji. And this is the 0.38 tip, which is really narrow, and it means you can write really small and neat, even though I'm not writing really small and neat. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like I haven't found somewhere where I can recycle these yet, locally. So I used to use the fluid, and I might have to go back to using the fluid, although I'm not sure how easily recyclable the pots are of that either. But anyway, that's an aside. I'm still trying to work out with some of the things. They obviously, and they last for ages, those mice as well, so it'd be good if you could have refills. It's all getting a little bit scruffy as it gets towards the 30-31s. The 1, 2, 3s are not too bad. I need to remember to write smaller for those, because then it doesn't look so weird when I start going smaller for the other ones. But obviously I'm halfway through a spread now, so what I find with all of these is that once you start filling them in, you don't even notice like your crappy handwriting. Yeah, so August around 31, September, almost there, into harvest time now. Pumpkins are ripening. Ooh, almost at 31. Sorry, concentrating and not talking. And we're at Halloween. Yeah, me too, Lachette. It's like after 20. But you know, we can kind of work it out. I've got a lovely cinnamon candle burning, which is smelling really lush now, as it's been burning for quite a while, so it's melting down lovely. Smells very Christmassy in here. Oh look, I'm getting squiffy in my boxes. 26, 27, 28, 29. How has that happened? I've gone out of sync somehow. 21, 22, 20. Because that's the one I got wrong. The one above. Argh! Let's see if I can alter it. 22, so that should be 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 30. See you, Raquel. I hope you enjoy your journal. Okay, what's Keegan telling us about in the US? You can box up old pens and stuff. Yes, we've got somewhere locally here now that we can take old pens to, but I didn't think I could take the Tipex mouse, but perhaps I could try that actually. You can take cartridges and things, they're empty printer cartridges, so perhaps you can. It's called TerraCycle. I don't know if that's like a worldwide thing or whether it's just here. And I think it like varies by different locations what you actually can recycle there. Okay, so that's all of the numbers in. So it's looking like that. Obviously rather horrible. I might just white out that whole thing and redo that line there. And then I'm going to put like Blood Moon on the top here as a title. I might write, I think I'm just going to write it in. I think I'm going to use a grey and just do it in like in a script. Let's have a look. There we go. And should I just write tracker for them? Okay. So Blood Moon tracker. I think I'll stick a little bit of washi down that edge as well. Some butterflies. And just erase that. I wrote Blood Moon on that so that I would know that that is the page that I was doing that on. I needed to go kind of near the edge. So yeah, there we go. That spread is done. Oh my gosh, Lauren, that's so late. I think I'm okay, Janetta. I'm just like conscious that it's long for everyone. I tell you what, let's skip this because this is just like for my video. This is like my video idea page, and I just put a bit of collage on that just because it is cool. And then this is just where I check, because I sent out a monthly newsletter, I check how many times I've posted on Instagram, how many YouTube videos I've made, how many Patreon posts I've made, to make sure I've done my goddess meditation and the energies of the month video on Patreon as well, and the weekly group task, if I've done any blog posts, and if I've done anything else like submissions and stuff like that. But like obviously that's kind of personal to me, so if you might want to do something like that to track things, if you've got like work deadlines or something that you track as well. I should have put red tent prep on there actually as well. I might try and put another box, and then I'm just gonna have them, there's 12 boxes down here, and the boxes are four spaces each inside, so I'll just put like the months then going across here. In fact, I could fit another box in the end for red tent, that would be fine as well. So yeah, that would be fine. So I'm going to leave that because that's kind of not that interesting, and this is literally going to take 2 minutes, so let's do this. So this is the book list, my reading list, and my songbook. So I'm just going to do these little, I'm wondering what colour to use. I think I'm going to use this kind of aquary blue again to do this, fill this in. And I don't mind that it's kind of loose and sketchy because I'm going to go over it with the, I'm going to go around it with the Muji just to make it stand out a little bit more as well. And obviously you can see the pencil behind, but that will be erased. And I think I'm going to draw around it first before I write in it. It's always like, which is the lesser of the two evils. So these headers, I use a little stencil to do these. I don't think I showed the stencil. Did I? I might have shown them. You can get them loads of places, but to be honest, you could very easily just draw it. I just kind of use the stencils because I've got in the habit of doing it. Because I've got the stencils, I bought them and I feel like I should use them. There's some really good YouTube tutorials on literally just making these like kind of banner headings and lots of different types of headings you can use in your journal. Oh, hey Erica! So this one's going to be my reading list. So I'm just going to write reading list in here. And then this one is my songbook, which is just, like I said, a list of the songs I can sing and play myself. So that's that. Hey, flying now. And that's it for the front of the book spread. I'll go back then to the index and I'll fill in what I've done in here. And then I will be flipping to the back and sticking in my like kind of Moon Mother inspo, which I just like to kind of have in the back as well. This one is out of, I was going to say the Wee Moon. Yeah, it must be the Wee Moon actually, from the thickness of it. I mean like the width of the page is a Wee Moony type side. And again, my Sovereignty theme tape is going to be being used here too. So let's just stick that on. Oh, I've gone a little bit squiffy, but I can live with it. Okay, and I'll probably add some more little inspo stuff into these pages here as well. Sometimes they're good for like little doodle pages. And then the future log. So this is the like, oh my gosh, I'm burning my Pritt stick. Look at that. I did say I'm going to start a fire here. If Kim was still watching, she'd be laughing because Kim actually comes to my in-person, to the red tent circles that I hold. So, and I'm forever like almost setting things on fire there as well. Okay, so future log time. Oh, you know what? And what I haven't been doing, but what I probably will do as well, is go through and add a few more of my little like skull stickers and things like that with my theme through all of these. So I'll probably like I'll be adding little bits and pieces to these anyway to kind of jazz them up a little bit. And I'll share all my finished pages later on. So, future log. This is really simple. It is just a calendar page basically, and then you just fill in the days of the week underneath where they've got to go. So I think I'll start this maybe and give you the spacing. Let's see how we get on anyway. Is anyone still here? Because we have been on almost 2.5 hours. I tell you what, I'll start this and tell you the spacing, and then we'll say goodbye to everyone so you can all go and have a cuppa, and I need to go and have some food, I think, as well. Although I don't need a wee, which is really good, actually. I managed that quite well. I didn't overfill myself with tea beforehand. So the spacing for my future log, and like I said, you might want to move yours so that you've got the months, you've got the whole year on one page. Okay, so whoa. Oh, people are still here, that's cool. Same amount of people as we started. Some have left, but some have joined. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. That is good. I'm glad that there's still some people here. So I think I'm going to do the stripe across the top thing that I've done for a few of the other spreads to have as a kind of like continuity thing. And I'm going to do that on, oh, that was my second half, my first half of the year. My second half of the year is here. So this is handy to have a future log because obviously you don't set up your months in advance. So, well, you know, you set 1 month up in advance, but you don't set up more than 1 month in advance. So you need somewhere to write like future appointments that are coming up that don't fit in to your existing month spread. So that's why your future log is helpful. And like most people will show these. And there's also, oh Natasha, you're in Wales, in North West Wales. Well, if you're ever down here, then do come. It'd be amazing. It'd be really cool to have you there. Our next one, and we're not having one in December now, but our next one is going to be on the full moon eclipse in January, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so I'll probably add, and I will be adding, like I said, some more of these like kind of bony stickers around the place. I don't even know quite what skull that, oh yeah, so is that kind of way, it looks like a kind of deer skull perhaps. So I'll be adding these in to the pages as well. You know, I got some kind of cool little ephemery type bits and bobs. This looks like a jawbone with a globe coming out of it. So these things will be getting added on later, and I think I might put a strip of washi at the bottom as well. But spacing wise, so that was just the title, and I'm not going to go around that one because it was just more of like an abstract-y type thing. That was just on the very top line, and then I've started writing the months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, the titles are at 1, 2, 3, 4. So the titles are at 5 boxes down, in the 5th box down, and I'm starting 1 box in, and then there's 2 spaces in between each one, and that works out well if you're using the Leuchtturm the same as me. Oh, okay, butterfly magic. Yeah, I do that quite often with the live stream, especially with Simon's lately. I've just been preferring to just listen, and I haven't been able to be live sometimes, so it's nice to be able to listen later as well. So that spacing just seems to work. I think I'm going to just write the days in with this pen. Yeah, I'm going to just do it with my emoji as well. And I am going to I'm going to keep that blue that I just used, and I'm going to use this to do the months. I'm going to put 07. I'm going to make those a bit bigger. Like this. So they're kind of month numbers on there. Obviously you can do yours however you want to. This is just kind of just jazzing it up a little bit, because otherwise it's kind of, you know, it's a very functional spread, but it's a bit of a dull spread. And I'm going to use the grey, that kind of midi blue grey, to write the months in. So let's do that. I've done the old Mar thing again. It looks a bit scruffy because I'm writing over the top of the pencil, but once I've rubbed the pencil out, it will look less haphazard. Hopefully, anyway. Okay, so that's the months in, and I'm going to use this to just do a little box for the days of the week, so that you can kind of really see each month clearly defined, if you see what I mean. So if you were doing your at a glance calendar, then this is kind of the same idea, except that you do all of them just on one page, kind of underneath each other. Oh wow, 6 AM, Tammy. I can't believe some of you have got up in the middle of the night basically to do this. Yes, that's crazy. So let's do it. I'm going to just put the days in the emoji. So yeah, this is a spread that I really do recommend having, even though it is boring to do. It's really handy, because otherwise you're like, oh, I need somewhere to write down these things. And you might come up with a far more creative way of doing it than this as well. This is just a kind of really simple way of doing it. I'm speaking a bit like Yoda now, because I'm also concentrating on writing, and I haven't even got to the stage where I'm writing the days in yet. Which does get confusing, because you have to make sure that you put them under the right place. Potential for mistake is high. Okay, so that's the kind of basics. And then you need to get like a calendar for the following year. No, that's 2020, so that's no good. 2019. So I'm using the one that's here in the 2019 Wee Moon Diary. And I'm going to copy it. So just make sure, obviously, that you're starting in the right place. So the year starts on Tuesday. So I'm going to start just straight underneath and start putting the days in. Like that. And what's handy about this one is it actually has the moons on it as well. So you can do your little moon, your circles for that, so you can get your moons on in your calendar as well. Okay, so I won't do all of them here now on camera because I said we're going to be finishing at 2 and it's already 2:05. But you basically just continue with that again underneath, and I would rub it all out, and then I'll probably use some little bits of washi just to kind of tart it up a little bit and put some stickers and things on it. And like I said, I use it like this because I like to write, and I write my videos, what videos I'm going to do each month under here, as well as my like upcoming appointments. So I like to have the extra space, but if you wanted to, you could very easily just transpose that here and just have it all kind of written out. And then you'd have like sort of 3 or 4, maybe even 5 lines to put it in. You could move that all up a little bit if you wanted to, and kind of play around with the thing. So yeah, I hope that makes sense and is interesting. The only other thing that I've got in here to do is my depth year wish list, which is again just going to be a kind of plain title page where I'm going to be writing down any things I think, oh, I want to get that while I'm having my depth year, and I'm not going to be buying new resources. Not just things for buying, like ideas for following up things as well. Like if I hear about an interesting concept, I'm going to write that in here. So I might need a key for like concept video, things like that, of what I'm going to be looking into. So let's just quickly, this was how we started, and I'm going to be adding more to these flowers. And I'll be adding more to my goddess pages as well. And then that was just my key, which is finished. The contents, which is just the contents, so that's fine. You can see it's kind of a little bit wrinkly because of the glue, which is a bit annoying, but it will kind of even out. And by the time I've been using this, it'll be completely battered anyway, so it won't matter. This I need to fill in the cards and write a little bit more about. Then I will be adding some more kind of stickers and jazzing that up a little bit as well. There's my astrology, which I'll be filling in and sticking my chart in and the time ahead and that kind of thing. My goals, I need to finalize them so I can fill those in. The tarot tracker, so that will get clipped in with the bulldog clip here as well, which will kind of finish that off a little bit. And I feel like I said, I feel like I want to write a quote or something there, so I'll be finding something to go there. The blood moon tracker, which is pretty much done. God, seeing it like this, it feels like I hadn't really thought. I feel like I left lots of stuff unfinished, but it's actually looking pretty cool. And then my story witch tracker, my video ideas, and my reading list, and my songbook, which just need a bit of pretties on them. And then at the back, we've got the kind of back page, the future log, and my depth year wish list. And all of that just needs to get noted into the index so I know where to find everything. So there we go. I wonder how yours are looking. Please share them with me. Do the tag so I can see what yours look like as well. I'm really excited to see. And like I said, I'll carry on working on mine and I'll share that. I might even do a flip through of the year plans perhaps when I do the next live, which I haven't set a time for yet, so we're working it out. What tag are we using? Now I don't know, I can't remember, so if anyone can remember the tag please let me know, because I want to be finding the stuff for it as well. Oh, that what I wanted to stick in as well. This was a piece of like a free washi sample. This was going to be for my Damara death kind of but yeah, like I said, I've got a few more things to be adding in, which I will be adding. These thick washes are kind of cool for... Hey Mad Witch, I know. And I said that it was only going to be 2 hours, absolute maximum. And we are over 2 hours. Oh no, I've wrinkled it all up. Actually, I don't mind that. It kind of still looks kind of cool. So I'm going to just push that on. Okay, so that is it. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and any questions, let me know and I'll try and answer them. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon. If I can remember how to turn it off, that would be really good.